What's up, ladies and gents? Social Nerds here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate your time. I'm catching up on some of the Grammy Award conversation. I don't watch that show in its entirety. Haven't watched it for years, but after the show takes place, I do read trending topic articles and watch different media about what happened at the Grammy Awards. So we're going to talk about Shaboozey. Shaboozey is a Nigerian American born in Virginia to Nigerian parents. We're going to talk about him. There's been some controversy, right? Also, I'm not surprised by the ice out pins and buttons and the way that some of the artists portrayed their opinions, let their opinions be known about the crackdown, right? The United States is enforcing immigration law, right? We know that Joe Biden opened the borders. That is ridiculous that he did that. You do not know who's coming into the nation. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people from different nations that can't stand United States policies. I don't advocate for violence. I don't advocate for bullying. I do not embrace or endorse the disparity of any group. But there are laws and borders have been drawn, right? And that is crazy what happened with the borders. That was extreme. And now a different political party is in office, President Donald Trump and team, and they have what many people consider an extreme response to those open borders, right? It's crazy. Now, many of us, we acknowledge that we know what the Democratic Party was doing. They were trying to populate areas, sanctuary cities. The plan has been occurring for years now. Populate those cities with people that are in the country unlawfully. It's like counting heads for a census, and you get more representatives in Congress. Although the people that are not citizens cannot vote, they are part of the population. And actually, there has been individuals here in the United States that aren't citizens that have voted. They've been caught. So imagine how many have not been caught. There is a reason why Joe Biden did that. So no one should pretend like, oh, it's just out the goodness of the Democrats' heart. It is a political move. With that said, a lot of immigrants came before this 4-year rush under Biden. Some came after the 1965 Immigration Act, right? And I'm not sure exactly when Shaboozey's parents got here, but they certainly did not come through Ellis Island. When you think of Ellis Island and you see those photographs and the film and the recordings from back in that day, those faces that came through Ellis Island weren't black or considered racially black people. They weren't people of African ancestry or Africans, right? They just weren't. So Shaboozey's parents didn't come that way, right? And I'm not saying that they came illegally. That's not what I'm saying at all. But his controversy at the Grammys was his acceptance speech, which was that, and this isn't verbatim, immigrants built America. He also thanked immigrants for bringing their music into the United States. So absolutely, there's been some pushback from people in my ethnic group, right? We are not immigrants. Unfortunately for our group of people at their time, they were enslaved. Slavery lasted for 400 years. The United States is a young nation. Through the law of the land, our people were purposely put in despairing, awful positions up until that 1964 Civil Rights Act, and things continued to happen after that, right? So now the United States is having a complete reset. And the 1965 Immigration Act isn't quite what the country believes should be, continuing to progress, right? And there are absolutely Democrats, even though they are not speaking out loud, I believe Democrats are in line secretly with this reset that the Trump administration is carrying out. With that said, Shaboozey's words were offensive, right? Because we know the history of this country. We know that enslaved people built this country's infrastructure. That's the facts. Some things are facts, right? It's so much true that it is being intentionally erased by people like Shaboozey. We even know that the president, POTUS, is purposely removing references of our history here in this country. And Shaboozey is participating as well, right? See, here's the thing. Shaboozey's parents come from a place that the president calls an S-hole, right? And Shaboozey's parents are immigrants. They're from a failed place. They've come here to reach opportunity. And if we know anything about many of the immigrants, they are immigrant first. That is their concern, right? Within that mindset, there are racial hierarchies, right? This is my belief because this is what I've seen and my experience as well when interacting with immigrant populations, right? So Shaboozey, his feelings are hurt because of the immigration crackdown, the way the president talks about immigrants, the president and other people as well, and the fact that he probably has many family members, uncles, aunts, cousins that have fled from Nigeria, because Africans do that. Their families are dispersed across Europe. Some are in China, other African nations. They're all over the place. Europe is cracking down on African immigrants as well. So Shaboozey's way of fighting back is to credit immigrants for bringing their music into the United States. Now, Shaboozey's father enjoyed country music and hip hop culture from what I read. And this is what framed Shaboozey's interest in our music, right? Because he's not singing his people music from Nigeria, right? And with that said, I believe that people that really helped put him on, like Beyonce, helped catapult that man's career. Jaquan's song, Tipsy, Shaboozey being able to sample that song, although Jaquan was paid, and Jaquan said it was quite a bit, but that song helped catapult his career, right? So Shaboozey is being called out for his reckless words, and I totally get why, right? He did try to come out with an apology and, him being a part of Black history, which I did a video about Charlie Pride, the first Black man to win a country music Grammy here in the United States. He's of our ethnic group, right? So we've got to be sure that people know who the African American is, right? It's not a Nigerian or an immigrant of any background, right? We've got to be sure that people know who our ethnic group really is beyond some of the falsehoods, right? He got dragged. And Billie Eilish, let's mention her. She got dragged too because we know that the United States of America was not always the size that it is today. What we know, it was a hostile takeover. The Europeans, they came, they settled, they conquered. It was a hostile takeover, right? California became a state in 1850. It was the 31st state of the Union, of the United States, right? And Billie Eilish talked about everyone is illegal in America, stole the land. This isn't verbatim. Well, an indigenous group of people, I believe it's the Tongva tribe, called her out, right? Because they're located in the basin of California. Hmm? And that's where her mansion sits. So they called her out and say the next time she references illegal and land being stole, she needs to make sure that she contacts them, right? Because she's part of what she's talking about. And she hasn't given up that mansion that's sitting on their land, right? The Tongva people, right? So, a lot of the immigrants are upset because immigration law is being enforced. The president is doing all kinds of things. A lot of us don't like everything that the president is doing, but we also aren't going to lie, right? Because our feelings are hurt. His parents are from a failed land. They gave up on Nigeria. They don't want to go back to that place. By the way, there's a small amount of American troops that just landed in Nigeria. We'll talk about that. Just my take on things. Thank you for